The coaching dominoes are beginning to tumble in college football. This is a college countdown. I am Josh Neighbors here on the Rogue Media Network and the 365 Sports Media Network. Glad to have you alongside us today. Make sure you follow us on Twitter. We are at CC Podcast JN. I'm at Josh Neighbors _ You guys can find the show wherever y'all get your podcast and on YouTube as well. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. Our man Jack Allen will be on tomorrow as we break things down. And the big story right now is all about coaching. Some of the dominoes have begun to fall when it comes to college coaching. Which jobs will be open, which jobs won't be open. We got news this weekend that, hey, Florida State not going to open in 2025. Well, we have gotten a job update. North Texas, their coach, Eric Morris, will go on to take the Oklahoma State job. He will be the successor to Mike Gundy there at OSU. And a couple things on this hire, because I think it's got some ramifications, of course, in the, hey, who are we hiring type category, but also I think for, for other schools. But I think it signals something. And we've seen coaches make some choices about the jobs that they've taken. So James Franklin took the job at Virginia Tech. It was a very natural fit, sure, right? The job at Virginia Tech where, hey, you're at a mountain school in Penn State. You're up north, not too far away. Take that job. You can go, basically bring a lot of your recruiting class and recreate what you had in the Big Ten, a very top-heavy conference. You can do that in the ACC, which is a top-heavy conference, but not quite as good as the Big Ten is up top. And then you're seeing here Eric Morris, who is in rumors for the job at Arkansas, saying, you know what, I'm going to take a Big 12 job, right? That's where I want to go. So I think it signals something for places like Arkansas, maybe even for the Floridas of the world and for, LSU, but, those mid-tier schools. Those jobs might not be as appealing as we thought they were, because I think the job for some folks that's most appealing might be a Kansas State, and that type situation. Like what Chris Klieman has going at Kansas State, I think he'll get another year, but man, it's gone pretty well. Lance Leipold at Kansas, you can build a program, be there for a long time. BYU, good example of a program that's allowed Kalani Sitake to have a time to build a great program and stay there. And even, they'll put up with down years. Matt Campbell at Iowa State, those jobs are appealing because there's security in those jobs. There is a year-to-year, nature of other jobs that just does not seem as present when you factor in, what's happening in Southeastern Conference. I think that there is a desire to win that is married with the fact that a lot of these donors are not getting return on investment. That has created a culture in which people just want to win because guess what? What else is the money they spent on? If Jerry Jones pays Dak Prescott $60 million, he still gets a check at the end of the year for all of the, for the revenue that they bring in. The Cowboys are a money-making machine. So whatever they send out in revenue, which, once again, NFL Players Association, not one of the best, but they make back. Whatever they send out and pay everybody, they make back in the NFL and most major American sports. Well, here, a lot of the stakeholders, those donors who are helping teams compete at the highest level, your return on investment is wins and losses. It is not, we gave this kid $2 million and wow, wasn't he great in our advertisements? Because in the end of the day, a lot of it is going to be those kids, Cooper Flags of the world doing advertisements for major companies. DJ Uyunglele did one for Dr. Pepper, if you remember. Arch Manning for Warby Parker, right? Those companies, are the ones that'll profit off those big name guys. It's not going to be like Dave's Chicken Shack or, whatever you think it is. Example here at Arkansas, I know, whoever stayed Taylor Green, Frank Fletcher, he's recorded advertisements with Taylor Green, but he's not aired those. So really your return on investment is Frank's a Bobby Petrino guy, wants him to do well, wants Taylor Green to do well, but that's kind of the relationship there. There's no actual return on investment that's going to come the way of one Frank Fletcher. And so that means wins, losses, happiness, your feelings are what you equate to your ROI. That's why James Franklin got canned, because Penn State really didn't have any plan. Their plan was to fire him and say, the vibe's not good. We don't think this is good enough. And now they might hire Terry Smith, who might be a good coach, who might be a Penn State guy, but is he going to win 10, have 10, or 6, 10 plus win seasons in a 9-year stretch like a James Franklin did? I don't know. I've got no idea, but like, I think that's going to be hard to do at Penn State for a guy who's not been a head coach, except for what's happening this year. Tough situation, done very well. Maybe deserves a shot, but if you're firing a guy for $50 million who was just in the college football playoff semifinal, then you need to evaluate why you did it. And if why you did it is because you want to compete for championships, you're not any closer to a championship right now during this cycle. There's good coaches you can hire, but you're not any closer. Florida's a different case. Like, I think Florida did the right thing. I think Florida did the right thing because they gave Billy Napier all the time in the world. They let him bring in recruiting classes. They gave him grace. They gave him time, and it just didn't work out. Right now, I'm not sure who they're going to hire. On Lane Kiffin, I think it would be an awesome hire. I think there are other guys out there like Kenny Dillingham, like an Eli Drinkowitz, who would help that program out. But they might not get the big gain that they wanted. But I think that's okay. I think it's okay if they don't get necessarily the best possible guy in the world, because Billy Napier was not the good fit. They gave it time, and they were winning at a level that was not commensurate with what they expect. And so they made the right move, and they can find somebody who can do what Billy Napier did at the very minimum. And I think they can find somebody better with the available coaches out there at this point in time. But I think the opposite is what Penn State did with a James Franklin. I think, I know that at Cal, Justin Wilcox was not getting over the hump with the Cal Golden Bears. That being said, he was winning 3 straight bowl games, which they hadn't done since 2009. He wasn't peaking, but they think they can do better. I think for a school where they talked about shuttering the football program, the president did in recent memory, you got to be honest about who you are sometimes. I'm not sure these schools always are. I think Eric Morris was honest with himself about what he wanted. Arkansas is a massive, massive challenge, even though it is a Power 4 job. And so he took a job that, I think is going to be a bit easier to build. A guy who's had great talent identification, whether it's been Cam Ward, whether it's been also currently with Metzmaker, and then also, with Patrick Mahomes, obviously in previous time. But they've done a good job. He has done a good job evaluating talent. So I think it's a natural step for him to go to a place like an Oklahoma State, where they came off one coach the long tenure, and maybe he's the next guy to do it. I think it makes a lot of sense. Where it puts other schools, the schools that we know that are open. Arkansas now. Kane Womack is not Womack, whatever it is. Apparently not very much in the mix, according to what I'm hearing. Could still get the job, but at this moment in time, folks I trust don't think it's going to be him. And then Silverfield, Golish, and also Morris were your 3 candidates. So I think most likely we're heading towards a situation where it's probably going to be, I think Golish probably the front runner now. Silverfield obviously right there. Those guys, leaning towards that job. And then we're waiting for the Lane Kiffin domino to fall, right? I think that's one thing that a lot of folks are now focused on is, hey, where does Lane Kiffin fit in all of this, right? I think it's totally something that makes a whole lot of sense. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we will look at some more of the Lane Kiffin stuff and also a look ahead to rivalry weekend. What is on the line? Where is the most value in some of these bets? We'll use our friends at
Conference titles, playoff hopes, everything's on the line now. A single loss in November can end it all, and no one gets you closer to the college football action than DraftKings Sportsbook, the #1 sportsbook for live betting. New customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code NEIGHBORS. That's code NEIGHBORS to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 8887-897777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois, void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday ticket/terms. Limited time offer.
All right, the folks at DraftKings Sportsbook have the odds to make the college football playoff. They are incredibly, incredibly interesting. Let's look at those now as we share my screen. Bang. All right, so teams that are off the board at this point in time, if you check out the college football playoff, if you look at the rankings right now for the CFP, Ohio State off the board. They're the number one team in the country. Indiana off the board at this point in time. Texas A&M off the board right now for the CFP. Georgia, the Bulldogs, are also off the board as well. And then I think, when we start getting into it is the Oregon or Texas Tech. But there's a group of teams right here that are the 1,000 favorites, the three. Minus 6,000 for Tech, minus 2,000 Notre Dame, minus 1,200 for Oregon. Right? Oregon passes their biggest last test, I guess you could say, as they beat USC. Now, they could lose to Washington, but, I think 2 road losses might not hurt them too much. I don't think that's going to be the end of the world. 2 losses, period. Indiana won't kill you. And if you lost at Washington, probably does not totally kill you, but they are going to be a favorite in that game. They already are a 6.5, 7-point favorite, according to our friends at DraftKings. And then you go to Ole Miss, right? Minus 600. Their situation could be a bit more fickle. I think they are going to get in. I think if they lost the game to Mississippi State, maybe it becomes a bit more tenuous, but I have a tough time seeing a state of affairs where an Ole Miss team that has been as good as theirs has, 10-1 right now with wins, over, LSU is number 4 at the time, a 35-point win over Tulane, a win at number 13 Oklahoma, which has just improved and gotten better. I'd have a tough time seeing them, with those wins in hand, losing and being out. I know it's not a great resume at that point, but still, to me, it's a good enough resume that they get in. Oklahoma is minus 380. They've had a brutal stretch. It's for them, they've already taken the 2 losses. Right, the Texas loss was not very good. They really got killed in that game, and then the Ole Miss loss was not a terrible, awful, bad loss. They have beaten number 15 Michigan, Auburn, number 22 at the time. Sure, not a bad win. At South Carolina, 26-7, 19-point win. I'll take a 19-point win on the road against a team that pushed the Texas A&M Aggies. A win at number 14 Tennessee. A win at number 4 Alabama as well, and a win against number 22 Missouri. So they've got a plenty good enough resume. They just need to take care of business this week and get to 10-2. If there ever were a 3-loss team, though, it feels like they've got the resume to do it. But it seems like the odds don't like that. SMU even money. I think that's because of Rhett Lashley's success level that he's had in the ACC is why he is right there. And then also North Texas. This gets us to that G5 range. So North Texas, Tulane, and then also James Madison are your top 3 in terms of the odds. To me, when you look at, what these teams have left upcoming the rest of the way in the American Athletic Conference, okay, Tulane has got a contest this week against Charlotte, who's 1-10. You're good to go on that front. North Texas, 10-1 there. They have got themselves a game against Temple at home. You feel pretty good about their chances in that contest as well. And they did beat Navy, so they get the tiebreak there. So if those 2 teams make it, it'll be Tulane and North Texas battling it out, which Eric Morris will be coaching out the North Texas Mean Green for the rest of the season, which is a note that we got today as well. So something to keep hold of to think about in that respect. And then also you've got James Madison. So I know JMU grinded it out last week over over Washington State. This week, their final game, they'll take on Coastal Carolina on the road, 6-5, 5-2 in the Sun Belt. They need a pretty significant win there. And then in the Sun Belt championship game, they're going to need to put belt to ass to have themselves an opportunity to go, because it seems like North Texas and Tulane are both teams that are kind of being put up there. But I really do feel like that JMU resume is just as good, as the resume North Texas has put together, just the AAC being a bit stronger, I think, this year than the Sun Belt has got them in that good position. James Madison, that grinding out win was not a fantastic look, but I still think James Madison definitely deserves a seat at the table. That loss to Louisville 28-14, a game that I think they could have won. They just looked soppy in that game, but that was their big opportunity. It's kind of their big shot this year, and they missed that one. Also mentioned those ACC odds. Tulane, Virginia, right there at plus 180. Miami and then BYU. Miami's got a low chance, man. They got to find a way in the ACC title game, which is not out of the picture considering how weird the ACC has been this year. So I'm not counting that, not totally discounting that, but it's there. Vanderbilt, Michigan, Utah, JMU, all that stuff is available to you here on the DraftKings Sportsbook. All right, so some final thoughts here about Lane Kiffin. I've got no problem with how he's been handling this. The idea that he would bail on his team, I think, is ridiculous. The team seems to know what's going on. And this is something that you'll see in college basketball with semi-regularity now. Will Wade was very honest with his team about what he wanted out of the experience at McNeese State, as he's now at NC State. But at McNeese, he's like, I want to go to the next level, and I want to bring you guys along with me. Right? There are stepping stone jobs, and it's okay to admit that there are stepping stone jobs. And so I think that's very, it's very incredibly reasonable, that he is that situation. I think that like him telling these guys, telling this team, hey, we're totally invested. We're totally, totally in. Things can change around us, but that situation, these guys know it too. Trinidad Chambliss, man, he made his way up from D2. He knows about trying to find a different and better home. He knows about that. And so I think it's totally, it's not unreasonable for him to be doing what he's doing right now. I honestly believe that. He'll do it with his own little bit extra flair and style, which can be annoying, I think, to a lot of fans, but I'm not bothered by that at all. In my opinion, I'm not really bothered by it at all. Let us know what you think. Comments. Like the video, sub of the channel. Jack Allen on tomorrow coming your way. I'm sure he'll have more on his thoughts on LSU and their coaching search, as well as Florida and a whole lot more. Follow us on Twitter at @JoshNeighbors_, at CC Podcast JN. Like the video, sub the channel. Folks, back Manana.